Thank you. Uh, and I'm all wrapped up because we just had snowflakes this morning. So the impermanence of spring, the impermanence of spring. And we're working on the third remembrance. We're playing around with the notion of we're all going to die. And we haven't grown beyond that. And as I was thinking about that, I began wondering, what would it feel like to know that I'd breathe out and I wouldn't breathe back in again? How would I savor that breath? How would my heart embrace the sweetness of that breath? And as I did in that moment, maybe we could all just take a moment and maybe just look around wherever we're sitting and located and just notice in that room, in that space, if this were the last time you were going to see it, how would your heart feel as you just pass your eyes over all the ordinary and familiar parts of that setting or that room? As I look around, I see my desk. I see mugs that hold pencils and pens and scissors. And as I look more deeply and appreciatively, I notice the liveliness of the colors, the reds, the greens, the pinks, the blues. And I see my desk chair a bit worn, and it's held my butt so steadfastly through all the work, all the writing and reading, and through all the Zoom meetings. And just on the other side of my desk, I see the window that I watch sun and rain and snow through, that I look out through to rest my eyes from the screen and my mind from the work and my heart from the energy spent. And of course, my books. And how beautiful each of these become as I look more deeply and see with caring attention. How magical the meaning of each item that's been with me, that's been there for my heartache and my joy, as I see each through the lens of what it would be like to know that this would be goodbye. The joy and the poignancy of opening of my heart space to more deeply caring about and experiencing this moment. This can be such a meaningful part of my practice on living with the existential inevitability of dying. This is in part what the Buddha's last words were pointing us to, as Stephen Batchelor, a prominent Buddhist scholar, points out. He quotes the Buddha's last word as being appamada, which he translates from the Pali as care, and describes this as the intention which guides and directs us. He points out how used beneficially, it doesn't depress or deplete us. It inspires us, energizes us to be present, to not cling to what is lost or gone, but to be awake to what is here right now, not getting lost in habitual trains of thought or forgetfulness. And he points out how we can see how this forgetfulness happens in our practice and in our lives, how we get lost, zone out, or go on autopilot. We start out meditating focused. And somewhere along the way, we get lost, we get distracted, we veer off into past or future, worry or fantasy. Then the teacher says a few words and calls us back. Hey, my active mind, come on back to right here, right now, to just this breath. Or the bell rings and we wake up back to the present moment. And in this way, the third remember also calls us back. As Thich Nhat Hanh might say, it can be one of our mindfulness bells to help us remember, to wake up from the fog of forgetfulness. I remember when my dad died just about 25 years ago now. He was my rock, my steadiness, my anchor in so many ways. And as Susan talked about her mom last week, he also knew how to live. He lived fully and appreciatively until the age of 90. And my heart broke when he died. It was such a loss. But it was also an invitation to follow his example of living fully. He died in the fall. It was October, one of my favorite months of my favorite season. I was in between jobs, so that gave me the opportunity to just do things like go for long walks in the woods to comfort my aching heart. And I remember the colors being absolutely spectacular. As I look back now, the colors more than likely weren't any different than they'd been in previous years or in subsequent years. But the way I saw them was different. My dad was there with me. His death and the example of his life were telling me to look, notice, see, feel the beauty, see the world, hear the world all around you. Notice your aliveness, appreciate you're alive. And I certainly don't remember this as often as I would like to so fully appreciate each unrepeatable moment as I did that fall. And I try to cultivate practices to help remind me. Going to the cemetery to visit the ancestors is one of these practices, or mindfulness bells, for me to remember to appreciate life in this moment, since it will not always be so. This helps me to remember that this alive moment might be the last opportunity I have to say a kind word, to give a heartfelt hug or pat on the back, to embrace what is, whatever that might be, to cherish, to feel love and compassion, or to honor loss or sadness. And this inspires me to practice with more caring attention. I can deeply be grateful for the moments of shared closeness, both painful and joyful, that I experienced with my now dead family members, as well as the missed opportunities. All are lessons. The more I practice being aware that it won't always be so, the more I may give myself the chance of remembering to be caringly alive to this moment, to this person, to this experience right in front of me. And to close, I'd like to share a poem that I wrote the summer after my dad died that also helps me practice remembering to remember this mystery of aliveness. And the title is Living with Death. My death is my companion today. She whispers to me, listen, hear the cricket who lives on your patio. She excitedly jumps up and down, pointing to the first fireflies of the summer blinking golden in the night. She stops me and says, "Wait," so we can smell the moisture-rich earth as the mist creates diamonds on the leaves. And she pounces on my bed each morning, laughing with joy, singing, "Wake up, live." So let's practice this. Let's take these moments to practice being awake and appreciating being together and being here in this moment. So beginning as we always do, as I thank you for being so attentive to my words and thoughts, let's shift to being aware of our bodies. Oh, what's awake in our body at this time in your day? Any crankiness, any glitches, aches, and pains to be honored? What feels alive in this moment? What are the noticings in the body? What can you do to bring some kindness? What movement, what adjustment? Some shoulder rolls to appreciate the weight the shoulders take of all that you do. Some twists to stretch and loosen and untwizzle. Some rocking back and forth or side to side that might bring some awareness and comfort. And then just a settling in your own time, at your own pace, honoring whatever it is you need in this moment. To bring some kind, caring attention to this amazing, miraculous, unrepeatable breath. That breathes itself without us having to do anything. To simply enjoy the mystery that it's happening without our having to be in control. Perhaps with the appreciation of as if it were our first, as if it might be our last. Savoring the sweetness. And inviting our mind back as often as necessary to whatever is this moment holds. And as I read the words of the poem again, perhaps just allowing yourself to receive these words as it fits for you, a gentle mindfulness bell to return and remember. My death is my companion today. She whispers to me, listen, hear the cricket who lives on your patio. She excitedly jumps up and down, pointing to the first fireflies of the summer blinking golden in the night. She stops me and says, wait, so we can smell the moisture-rich earth as the mist creates diamonds on the leaves. She pounces on my bed each morning, laughing with joy, singing, wake up, live. And in the remaining minutes of this practice, is settling back once again, you being here with you, and you being here with us as we are with you.